I want to hear you, Dr. Simpson, because the minister said yesterday that popular belief is that the main perpetrators and victims of crime are really the late blooming teenagers, 17 to 23, 24. But he said no, it's actually 25, between 25 and 44. Then he went on to say social interventions can't really save these anymore. Yes, because they're seasoned criminal terrorists. What say you of that?
Okay. Um, the age between 25 to 44, yes, that is the most prevalent age where you have the perpetrators and victims. What's important to note is that the interventions that need to occur do perhaps need to occur within a correctional facility. So what's important as we seek to intervene and facilitate the systems from crime, which speaks to leaving a life of crime, those who are deeply involved in criminality. Incarceration does help to, to take them off the streets and get them into one space and give the opportunity for the state to have significant influence. Now, it is important that they're incarcerated as punishment and not for punishment. Now, once they're within the facilities, then there are programs that can help to facilitate change. But however, these programs are not isolated programs, one-off programs, not one educational program, not one employment program, but it is a number of programs that facilitate an environment, a kind of re-socialization environment that can begin to facilitate change. Also, what happens as well when persons are incarcerated is that it can provide an opportunity for the interactions with the gang members to be intersective, and persons can begin to rethink and to begin to be challenged and reflect on some of their experiences, which can interfere and trigger a desire to change. And once that occurs, then some of these programs with people that demonstrate, model, and care about change become involved in their lives, teach new skills, provide opportunities, and a number of other situations.
I want to hear you on the main thrust of what you heard from the security minister, especially I'm going back to that 25 to 44 group.
Mm-hmm.
You said the social intervention profile should be shifted. Yes, I want you to expand on that a little bit more for us.
That the social intervention profile should be
shifted. You should be focusing with them inside the institutions, I think you said, and not necessarily on the outside.
All right. Now, where it is possible, certainly. All right. However, it is difficult for some persons, depending on how deeply they're involved in criminal activity, to desist outside. So both can happen. But what is important, so both persons, whether we're working with persons within the facility or outside, we can provide the type of environment and situation that can facilitate change in the individual. Right? One of the things that's very important is that the individual needs to be to see the lifestyle as something now that is distasteful, and that takes a number of experiences, a number of reflections. So perhaps sometimes for some persons it's because they recognize that their friends have tried to kill them, and so that has caused them to feel very tired of the lifestyle, and they're tired of running, and and so once this happens, persons may be more likely to be engaged in some of the activities and in the programs that we have both inside and outside. And one of the things that I'm seeing is that what's important are not just programs, it's creating an environment, and that environment looks like people who model the type of upstanding, law-abiding behavior that we're hoping for persons to now emulate. New information, moral information, upskilling, as the minister spoke about, different opportunities. And so a lot of what that means is that also the rest of us, as the rest of society, has set it open to working with them are at, whether it is within the community or within the facilities.
But Dr. Simpson, I'm glad you went there as it relates to working with them in the communities or in the facilities.
Yes.
Because this 25 to 44-year-old group, right? When
Yes.
they're, for example, if we're so fortunate for them to be caught and incarcerated after a conviction, they are in the prisons and some of them come out and they're back to the normal because that's what they know. Do you think that we have the rehabilitation programs that go to the root cause of these issues? Are our programs enough in our facilities, in our prisons, so that we have rehabilitated persons coming through the mill?
We definitely need some more resources, but there are persons who have been through the system and have changed. But again, it is the experience.
But you'd agree with me though, Dr. Simpson, that's the minority perhaps, isn't
It
that
is
so?
definitely the minority.
So
It is.
doesn't that go then to perhaps showing that there is in fact a want of rehabilitation programs in our facilities?
Yes, there are. It is needed. The emphasis, a greater emphasis, perhaps needs to be placed there, and greater resources to provide the rehabilitative programs and environment that each individual would need prior to coming out. Because also, even if they were to have a good environment that facilitated change within the facility, when they come out, they would also need to have an environment that facilitated reintegration. And what's important is that persons reintegrate into the community, into society. So it means that the rest of us, which is the community, whether it's the neighborhood that they're in, whether it's those persons who provide jobs, whoever it is, we have to be willing to support and facilitate them.